Hi, hello, namaskara. Welcome back to the Core Corner. Today we have an interesting topic. More interestingly is the person. She has had a vast experience in the field of Montessori training over 20 years as principal and also the vice principal of ACE Montessori. We're going to be having an interesting and an insightful conversation with her to deal with the kids, parents, and also the teachers during this phase. Can we begin? Hi, hello, namaskara.
Namaste.
We are yet again in another episode of the Core Corner. Core Corner is all about getting into the deep end of the subject that we are going to be discussing about. And today we have with us Sindhu Sudhakar.
Namaste.
Who has had a vast experience of around 20 years in the Montessori training. So, namaskara Sindhu, welcome to the studio and thanks for giving your time. And it's our pleasure to have an insightful conversation with you today about this Montessori training kids, parents and teachers. So, firstly, if I have to ask you, ನನಗೆ ತುಂಬ ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಯು ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ. ಹೌ ಡಿಡ್ ಯು ಇವನ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಲೈನ್ ಆಫ್ academics? And then how did it all fall into your lap? And then how did you process the whole journey, if I may know?
Yeah, it was my sister Sunita who completed her Montessori, and once she's back from Montessori training, she would explain me like it was like this, it was like that, I'm having fun. She used to do lot of craft work and everything, and my keen interest was learning about craft, cutting, drawing, everything. That put me into this, and immediately I told I'll do this next year. That is how I got into this.
So thanks to Sunita also that, we have Sindhu today with us, who's going to be taking us through the journey of this Montessori training and also how to deal with kids. So what actually happens in a Montessori training? How different is it from, preschool that we generally have gone to?
Montessori is something quality and quantity. It's a freedom of choice where the developmental skills is given in all the angles, in 4 different topics like exercise of practical life, sensorial, arithmetic and language, and also preliminary activities where they would have played at home with the same old toys, but here it will be a systematic manner where they need to keep a big one first and then the smaller one. So it goes on like that. And we also demonstrate science experiments for the children. We give like fireless cooking as a different this one where they would like to do it, but at home that freedom is not given to them. So that is how, and we are also being trained for child psychology. So in that way we try to understand the child a lot.
As a toddler, what do you expect of a parent of a toddler who is going to enroll their child into the Montessori training?
Before enrolling the child into the Montessori or toddler group, first of all, parents should be prepared to send the child to get separated from them, which is a very big task for a parents, because from the pregnancy till that time of 18 months, they would have been enjoying the child.
Correct.
Happy moments and everything. So that separation really matters a lot. So it is better we be prepared before sending the child to the school, telling like that, see, I'll come back to pick you up. I'll be waiting outside to see what you'll be doing inside. I'll be talking to your auntie or teacher, and there will be many aunties, akkas who will be taking care of you, and you'll have many friends over inside. You will have a good time. And first 2 days, I'll be with you inside the school. So don't worry. After you come back, let's all enjoy.
So this is the kind of, pep talk you actually give the toddler, as a parent.
Yes.
Oh, it's so important, alva? I mean, to prepare a child. Like you said, it's so important to prepare a child to be able to go through that kind of a separation anxiety, because even a child goes through more than even the mother, I think so, alva?
Exactly.
And how do you people as teachers handle the child which is coming to you for the first time with that kind of an anxiety in their mind?
First of all, we directly don't approach the child. We will go, do ourselves as an introduction. My name is Sindhu. What is your good name? Hey, you're wearing a pink dress. It's so cute of you. That's all. We'll see, observe. If child is accepting, we'll ask, shall I touch you? Shall I carry you? And then we go ahead like kind of. And then there are few children, they come inside without parents. We start working with them with many colorful Montessori materials which is being prepared for pre-Mont. And they start getting that even I want to work with it, even I want to play with it. Avaga they start coming to us.
That's a very nice approach to, prepare the whole team. Yep. It's a teamwork after all, Allah.
Yes.
So it's so beautiful. So after they come into the Montessori, how do you train the child to eat their food or, to be independent? I don't think any child can get independent so soon because, they're so used to being fed and then being taken care of 24/7. So, adakke ondashtu, is there a preparation mode that you people have?
Yeah, first of all, we give the presentation like kind of table manners, like we put a chowki, we will have a small bag where we will show them this is how the arrangement is done. So now you have also got your small cutie new dabba, right? So shall we keep it open and see what mama sent and nourish it? That is how we motivate them.
So idu ee kade hing ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾರೆ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ as parents, today I see a lot of them actually, they turn on the television and then they have the cartoon playing in the background and then keep feeding the child. So is there an imbalance where you are trying to train a child in the school to concentrate only on the dabba, whereas on the contrary at home they are just being shown the screen and then feeding the baby? So how do you actually help a parent and also the child to go through this phase?
Yeah, there will be something called a meeting which is being arranged for the parents. We literally help the parents to understand how to prepare the child before starting the school and what all you are supposed to send and help the child what you have kept inside the bag so that the curiosity is there. Avaga ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಅಮ್ಮ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕಲಿಸಿದಾರಂತೆ ಬರ್ತೀಯಾ, we will tell. The child will might or might not. And also we start observing the child is not putting hands to the dabba to eat. So we sit next to the child. There will be like teachers, akkas, everybody. So we start opening the dabba. Hey mummy, ivat carrot kalsidare, ಎಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ತುರಿದಿದಾರಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ತಿಂದು ನೋಡಣ್ವಾ. The child will start accepting and we start observing the child is not putting hands. Then we ask, manil heng tintiya? We'll ask. Amma cartoons haktare. Then we call parents and we convey parents, start talking to the child instead of switching on the TV.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, does it have an impact actually on the child if it is engaged with the screen time while eating? A lot of people think that's the easiest mode, to make the child eat, because ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಆ ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಟ್ಯಾಂಟ್ರಮ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ತಿನ್ನೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. So the easiest way today that I see is, turning on the cartoon or whatever on the television and then they keep feeding them. So ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾನ ಸೈಡ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಥವಾ ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಓಕೆ ಟು ಬಿ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಎನಿವೇ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನರಿಶ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ?
ನೋ, ಬಟ್ ದ ಮಗು ಏನು ತಿಂತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಟಿವಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಕಾರ್ಟೂನ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಏನೋ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾರೋ ತಿನ್ನಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ತಿನ್ನಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಏನು ತಿಂತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ನರಿಶ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಒಂದು ಹೋದರೆ ಸಾಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಈಟಿಂಗ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ವೇರ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಫೇಸಿಂಗ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೆನ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಈಸ್ ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಹೌಸ್, ವೆರ್ ಎವರ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಗೋ, there is no TV, no mobile, no cartoons. At that time the child doesn't even know what it is eating, and the child doesn't know what to express. because the child don't know the color, the name, nothing about it.
Oh.
That is the impact which is going to happen.
So, what do you call this syndrome? I mean, they say that, it's also related to something called the dark web. I mean, what happens actually in this dark web syndrome?
Like kind of child start observing whatever the TV shows, and then the child start enacting in the same manner. Like when we take them out, the child's behavior is not good. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದಾಗ ಬೇರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಮಾಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಗು ಹೆಂಗೆಂಗೋ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದು ಬಂದು ಅದನ್ನ ನಮಗೆ ನೋಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಕೋಪ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾಕೆ ನನ್ನ ಮಗು ಹಂಗೆ ಆಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಬಟ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸು ರಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟು. ಸೊ better stop doing that. Instead of, there are many other moral stories, many other things which you can explain. Mama is working in the kitchen and papa has gone for office. Ajji tata japa ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊ ನೋಡೋಣ. So you can divert the child instead of getting involved in cartoons or whatever the games, video games. It is better, as much as possible, we avoid children watching the screen time. And it's also, parents have a control over it. Allow the child see the screen, but parents' involvement is very much necessary when that is happening. Parents should have a control of it.
Okay. So when you say that, the child starts, enacting and emulating the characters, so you mean to say that in itself is called a dark web? Elaborate on that jargon, dark web. Because, this is something that we want to put out to the public to know, what actually happens. How dangerous is it to have that kind of a dark web, what do you say, syndrome? Ad yen agatte anta?
Their development skills will be slow. As in when they grow, they can't be watching Mickey Mouse or something like that. As when they grow, they expect more challenging way of looking into it. They get into video games, and that video games is something about race or something about fight, finding something, and they start falling into imaginary character and start behaving like that. That affects the behavioral pattern. Their good behavior will not be there in them. And learning skills, like a teacher is explaining something about the science experiment, the child starts thinking that I can implement this in this game or something. So it impacts like this.
Oh.
And it's a dark web about screen time is a vast topic where you can't explain in one shot.
Correct.
It has a very big thesis which is done by many qualified people. So that is how.
So we'll need to sit for a separate session for this topic alone.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much, Sindhu, for just giving us an insight about what this dark web is all about. I honestly want to put out this to the public and then want everybody to know about what kind of a negative and also dangerous impact it has on a child's brain cells that you were saying. So then when the child comes in, so we delved about how do you make the child comfortable, and then how do you make them start eating their lunch box, and then how do you reduce their screen time? If I have to ask you about, how do you develop that kind of an interest in a child to be able to sit in the classroom for about 3 hours? It's going to be for 3 hours, I think, Solva, initially. Yes. So, 3 hours kuda attention span is so less for the child. So, how do you engage a child so that it gets interested in the discussions or, teachings or training, whatever happens in the Montessori school?
Montessori is something where the child will not sit in one place. Child is given different activities in different fields, like exercise of practical life. Like ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಅಮ್ಮ ಬಂದು ಚಪಾತಿ ಲಟ್ಟಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದೇ ಅಮ್ಮ ಮನೇಲಿ ಕೊಡು ಅಂದರೆ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ತುಂಬ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೆಸ್ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕ್ಲೀನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದೊಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೆ ಬಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಚಪಾತಿ ರೋಲಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಹಿಟ್ಟು ಕಲ್ಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ our perspective is like kind of we are seeing into the finger development. When the child is mixing the dough, we feel that child is getting the development in fingers and the wrist movement. When the child is doing the chapati kneading, the child is using both the wrist, where the strength develops in them. And when we give some activities like that for the child, we also help the child to clean by themselves. So that next your friend is waiting to do the same activity, so you should keep it back the way you took it.
Super.
So like that we give even cutting vegetables like with the sharp knife, but before giving that we give the presentation of holding a sharp object.
Howda?
Yes, even after giving that we just don't walk away. Our eye will be there on the child throughout the time, and once we get the confidence, yes, the child is able to do it, then we just leave the child and we carry on. So it is not one activity. After 10 minutes the child can go put the mat wherever the child is interested. I'm getting bored here, I want to sit there. The child will change the place. So there is no fix this one for the child to get bored of it. Child has freedom of choice.
So what is the age idike group?
Frankly speaking, Montessori starts only from 2 years, 5 months. But nowadays it is also like kind of a toddlers group or early years. They call in different names, where parents who are now, if you can see, it's all a micro family. Not a joint family. In olden days, it would be joint family. There would be some person who can take care of the child and parents can go for job. But now it is not like that. So there are many parents who come and request telling that, please try to do something. So then at that point of time, all the Montessorians thought of doing toddlers program or early years.
So toddlers program starts from?
18 months to 2.5. And Montessori level is from 1 is from 2.5 to 3.5. Level 2 is 3.5 to 4.5. And level 3 is 4.5 to 5.5.
This is really interesting actually. And if I may have to ask you about what's the approach of a teacher towards the child, and then if you find there's something amiss in a child, why I'm asking you this is because I've had a similar experience in my life when a child was not interested in a certain activity, which was back then misunderstood for being dyslexic. But then when you actually go back to the doctor and then consult, it's not dyslexia, but something else. I mean, out of pure boredom. But supposing I was lucky enough that, maybe I had a doctor who gave me a proper diagnosis. Supposing you go to somebody and then you've been misdiagnosed and then start treating it for that. I mean, it's a very dangerous situation to be in, Allah. How do you actually find out whether the child is ready to be here or otherwise? Do you come across any such things?
Yeah, we come across a lot of it. First, we directly don't tell the child has some difficulty or some differences compared to other child. And first thing, we should not compare a child to another child. We should understand that. And then we give the presentations to the children and we motivate them to do those activities. But if child doesn't show the interest, we don't force them. We just leave. The child will be just roaming around in the environment, and one day or the other, in the span of 15 days, the child will definitely come to us telling that I want to work with it. Then we say, yes, okay, you can work with it. The more you say, do this, do that, the child says no. Go according to the child's pace. Child will definitely come. There are chances like even after 6 months of trial, the child would not put efforts at all. But the 6th month and a week, the child would have done all the activities what the child was not doing for the whole of 6 months.
So, but then how do you identify? Because a 6 months early, there can be a chance that, probably it's, dyslexic or otherwise. How do you, when do you draw that line of, actually calling a parent to counsel to say that, okay, the child isn't doing as expected, and then probably we need to go a mile further to check what's happening annadana yavaga, when do you take that call anta?
We start observing the child. We directly don't come into conclusion the child has a problem. We observe the child, teachers will observe the children, and whatever the problems we are facing, we call parents, we'll ask them to sit in the environment. Then we'll ask them separately, how is the child at home, what is the behavior, or when you go for socializing with gatherings or anything, how is the behavior of the child. We just talk to them, and first of all, if a child has any such kind of problem, the movement of fingers, the hands, the way the child look, it will be very different compared to a normal child. Those are the first signs of the child, and the child will be picking up tantrums like throwing things, hitting children. These are the first basic things where we start observing in the child.
Have you had any such experiences in your
many
Montessori
like
training?
that, many like that. And there are few parents who accept the fact, and we are just Montessori trained adults. We are not special educators. So there are many people who are special educators.
When you have a problem with the child, you try to, call the parent and also tell them that, there is an issue here, and then, the child is not behaving as required. And that's taken offense by the parent most of the times, and they feel that, we have given you that much of money and then sent the child to your school. So it's your responsibility to, handle the child completely, wholly and solely. So hangiddaga, how difficult it is, and then how do you actually approach this problem and redress it?
That is what I told you. First we'll talk to the child. What happened? Why did you do this? It'll hurt others. And this is the Montessori material. If you come back tomorrow, you will not have this material to work. So you will be losing it, right? And
such a positive way of saying it, Alva, rather than saying that, you're going to be penalized for, spoiling this material anadikinta. You won't have that, material for you to work with tomorrow. Another such a positive approach,
positive way of convincing child will definitely help the child to not pick up the tantrums. And there are few children who really will be very aggressive. They hit us also, and at that point of time, as a teacher, we should be calm and we should not talk to the child. We should just leave. And sometimes it so happened in my experience, a child came and slapped at me. I just kept calm, and for next 2 days I did not talk to the child. The third day the child came back to me and said, "Auntie, I want to talk to you." "Yes, baby, tell me, what do you want to talk to me?" The child very calmly just did this and said, "Sorry."
So sweet.
I said, "It's okay, baby. Let's not do this next time." And the child was there for 4 years, and the child was really so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the time, parents, do you have to guide them?
Yes, we do guide them, like kind of. Maneli ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಅವ್ರೇನಾದರೂ ಟ್ಯಾಂಟ್ರಮ್ಸ್ ಪಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಓಕೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿದನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡೋಣ, ನಾವು ನೆಮ್ಮದಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಸ್ಟ್ talk to the child, try to understand what is the feeling of the child, why did the child do this. ಹಾಗೆ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅದು ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
Super. So, at what age do you actually train the child to understand about a good touch and a bad touch? Because today, I think that's also one of the most important thing. Nam kaladalli navella hodaga namigidella irlu irlilla, and I don't think this concept was there at all.
Yeah.
So does it happen in the elementary age group, athva as they enter the Montessori stage itself?
It can start from home. before even coming into a toddler's group. It can happen at home. There are many videos which is available on YouTube about the good touch and bad touch, where you can help the child. Like as a parent, you both can sit together and say this is good touch, this is bad touch, and help the child. Other than parents at home, you're not supposed to allow any others to touch. Like for example, we came across such kind of this one at school in toddlers group. The child came to school. There are few children only once when they eat the food they get a potty. So the child came to school and the child got the urge of going to use the toilet, but the child started crying. We were really blank. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ಮಗುಗೆ. ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀರು ಕುಡಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಆದರೂ the ಮಗು is not stopping to cry. So we did not understand, and we called parents and asked, please can you see what is happening to the child? Mother came and the child whispered at mother's ears telling that ನಾನು ಪಾಟಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನೀನು ಆಂಟಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಿತ್ತಲ್ವಾ, ಅಮ್ಮ ನೀನು ಗುಡ್ ಟಚ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟಚ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ಯಲ್ಲ, ಆವಾಗ ನೀನು ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀಯಾ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? That was the question. But the child didn't knew how to express it. So then we started understanding what the child is telling, and then we told mother, you can convey the child, auntie help ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀನು ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಏನಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. It should come from mother's side. Then the child started accepting. Then we also started training in the school about the good touch and bad touch, and most of the children will definitely understand what is good touch and bad touch.
Oh, so it starts off at that age itself. Yes. Because namigidella hostu, we have never had, until we, I think it all started off maybe, 4-5 years back, on ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ too loud and clear about these concepts. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತೂ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. So it's nice that, they have introduced all these things into at a very young age itself, so that, the child is not in the confusion.
A good touch, bad touch can be explained according to the age, level of the age. It is not a mandate you should explain in a vast manner. If it is a toddler, there are stages. If it is 4 years or 5 years, it is a stages where you can explain about the good touch and bad touch.
Okay. Makes sense. So, finally, we have dealt about quite a few topics. And then if you have to finally wind your day, as a parent and a child, what is it that, that you would advise that they should be doing for the child as a wind-up for the day?
Yeah, we discussed about the tantrums. So you would have got a message from the school telling that your child is hitting other children or like throwing things and all. You can't directly attack the child, this is bad, you are not going to be a good child. ಆ ಥರ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮಗು ಡೀಪ್ ಸ್ಲೀಪ್ ಹೋಗಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ you will understand as a mother when is the child in deep sleep or half sleep. Even though the child is sleeping, the child know what is happening around the child, even in the deep sleep. So at that point of time, you should at least talk for 5 minutes every day to the child in a positive talk, telling that, let us not hit the other child, let us not throw things, so you're a good child, right? So you be a good child. That is how the positive way of talking will definitely impact the child to understand there's something which mama has told me, so I should listen. That is how the pep talk starts with. Sleep talk.
It has all these kind of jargons, but ನಮಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ದಿರಾನೆ, I think probably when we go to sleep, it would be a habit to just like that, have a talk or a chat with the child and then say that, okay, what happened. ಅದು ಅದರದ್ದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬಂದಿರೋ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ಸ್ನು ನಾವು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನು ಅದನ್ನು ರೆಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಟೈಮೇ, this is the best time, I would say, Allah. I mean,
and there are many moral stories also. Just you need not have a created story. You can yourself create a story on spot, telling that, putting yourself, putting others, like all friends and relatives and cousins, everybody into that story. And you can create a story and create where everybody clapped at you. It was so nice. It's such a good feeling, Alva. So always we should behave good so that everybody will clap at us. So if some child is doing something good, it's not a mandate, it's not a rule that some object as a gift, even a clap, a soft clap, or talking in a positive manner is also a gift for the child. No, expensive gifts doesn't matter. It is hardly 1 day, 2 day, 3rd day, 4th day it will be in the cupboard. So expensive objects doesn't matter for the child to become good.
Super. Thank you, Sindhu, for actually giving your time and then giving us an insightful conversation about this Montessori training and also how the parent has to deal with it and then approach it, and also from the teacher's perspective, since you have a vast experience of 20 years in this Montessori training, it's been really, really, really insightful. We wish to have you again here for some other topic because this is such a vast subject as it is. So even though we have briefly covered about a few things, but then if we take a particular subject itself, and then we would like to have many more conversations with you in future too. Thank you so much for your time and coming here.
Thank you.
Children, today we shall pay attention towards k. B, l, a, k. Black. N, a, k. Neck. K, o, k. Cock. D, a, k. Duck. Whenever we listen to k, we should place small k and big k together. It becomes k. Bl, a, k. Black.